CSS borders. Borders are an important element. They can be used for simple styling or mere segregation of elements. Now, borders have their own style, and as we discovered before, border also has its own width that can be provided. Let's take a look at different types of borders that exist. Now, on the screen over here, I have shown a representation of the style declarations and the output that is responsible for it. So if you declare your border style as dotted, you get a dotted border. Similarly, dashed means it will be have blank spaces in between to make the line appear as a dashed line. Solid is what we already used when learning about the box model. Double border is basically what appears when you have two borders put together. Basically, that appears like two lines that are put together. Then we have a groove, a ridge, inset, outset, hidden, etc. We will give it a try for each one of them. There are certain important parts of a border that you need to understand. Number one is CSS border width. So the border needs to have a width. Without a width, the border may not appear on certain browsers, or else on certain browsers it takes a default of 1 pixel as the default width assigned to it. And you can also have borders on only specific sides of your element. Similarly, if you can see, the border can be declared in one line declaration of a border instead of having to declare the color and the style separately. You can declare it in the border property itself by giving three values as an input to it. For the width of it, that is in this case 5 pixels, the nature or the style of the border, and the color of the border. In all of this, it is very important to give what type of border it is, that is the style of the border, apart from its size. If you have not provided the color, it is going to take a default black color to it. Now, if you look at the code which I have created over here, I have declared paragraph items so they take up the entire width, and I've added some content inside of them. And each one of them has been assigned a style which associates with the style declaration above. So firstly, I've set some background color to the uh, body so we can, look an inverted view whenever we require. Now we have also set a 20 pixel padding to the body. So we have a neat and tidy look on the sides with an extra space introduced. So on the top, if you see, the first item has a border declared with a border style declared as dotted. And in all these cases, if you see, none of them have the border width declared. That is because by default, it is taking up 1 pixel of border width. If I specifically provide a border width to either one of these items, it specifically takes up that width. So unless and until you have provided a border width to it, it is not going to show you anything thicker than 1 pixel. If you have a different operating system with a different type of a browser that does not follow the W3 org standards set for World Wide Web, then there is a possibility that it may display something in a different way. For example, the Safari browser, it sometimes tends to display things differently than every other browser. So be sure of testing out the outcome on different browsers whenever you are trying to accomplish something by utilizing broader properties. Okay. So we have different types of borders. I'm going to zoom this in little so you can see this much more clearly. As you can see, you have a dotted border, a dashed border, and to make these borders appear much clearer, I'm going to increase the size of the border in all for all paragraphs. So as soon as I increase the width, the shape of the border is much more visible and much more clear, as you can see. And up there, if you can see, there is a dash border, a solid border, a double border, and in a double border, the background color of its parent element is visible. If the background color were to be set to this very element also, it would be visible inside the two lines of the border. Let's do that by setting a border to the double line over here. Let's set a background color to it. Background color, let's say we're going to put it as green yellow. And if you can see, the green yellow color is also visible between the gap of these two borders. Then you have the groove style border, which appears as if someone has uh, drilled through a gap over here, the kind of grooves which are created on furniture and on walls for design purpose. Then we have a ridge, which is a protruding border, looks like a 3D border protruding outside. Then there's an inset border, which makes it look like as if your element has been elevated on the screen, and these sides are the slopes around it. Okay. Similarly, the outside border looks like as if it is inverted inside. and it's just an invert out of the above version. And the behavior and coloring of this inside and outside border, you can notice it if I change the background color of the page. You see, it is now visible in a brighter color, so it looks pretty clear. When you do not provide any border to it, it says no border. This means there is no border given to it. That is because we have provided this property called border style none. Now, why is this created? For example, you are modifying somebody else's template that you have downloaded from the web, and it has an unnecessary border given to all components. And you may want to use it in certain places, but in a few places you might want to get rid of the border. That's where you can apply this overriding style of border style none. Also, we have border hidden, but the border stays hidden. We will look at the uh, difference between border style hidden and border style none in a practical example soon. And border mix is basically a way you can mix more than one style together, and you can assign borders on four different styles with four different sides. To understand further, we are going to create one more element over here. Let's use the H4 element, that is a heading element which takes up the entire width of the screen. And you have a heading at the bottom. How about we also declare a style where it is given some sort of a border? Number one, I'm going to give it a background color. And number two, maybe some padding to beautify it a little. How about we start adding some borders to it? So what if I decide to have only a border at the bottom and I give a one line declaration for my entire border styling? That is what type of border I want, how thick I want it. So I decide to have this border to be about 4 pixels thick, and I want it to be red in color, and I want it to be a double line. And immediately, as you can see in the output, we have two lines at the bottom. Doesn't this look familiar? It's a common style available in Microsoft Word or any other word editing program, which also indicates they are using CSS type styling. This can be done on your web page very easily. Different style components can be created. And I'm pretty sure this is also used in creating menu bars, that is the navigation bar on the top. The styling applied with borders, that is selected menu has an underline below it, is used in this particular manner.